I'm excited for this video, actually. So talk about like found footage. So it's odd that just this morning I was working with the bike hauler. My cargo trailer's out of town with the old man. He went to St. Louis. I don't want to get my RV out to move the bike, and the chopper's broke. And it's being picked up today to go to Chopper Shop in West Palm, because I really do think we've reached a point where I need an actual expert to get into this, because this is mechanicalness that's kind of beyond my abilities. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see, but the shifter shaft is supposed to be in the motor more than that. Don't know how that happened, but twint bad. So Mark from Advanced Cycle Towing's coming with his flatbed or lift or something in a few hours this afternoon. He's going to pick up brown sugar, take it over to Chopper Shop here in West Palm. Chris at Chopper Shop is highly regarded in the area. He's worked on a couple of my bikes before. He's really, really good, so I trust him. Basically, I'm just going to tell him, fix that shifter shaft. I already had the rebuild kit for the carb. May as well just have him do it. Have him rebuild the carb with the kit that I have, and find that damn oil leak on the right side. I'm just gonna let Jesus or Chris take the wheel, whatever, and just make her right. Because I got her together. I built this bike essentially in 6 weeks. Took her to Daytona, won working man's class at the Cycle Source show. Ran her hard all of Daytona Bike Week without a problem, and she held together that long. So the bike's got a soul, and it's a good one. She held on that long, ran all weekend, or actually all week. And then somewhere between there and here, shifter shaft just went and let go. So there's some rubber, I think, grommets and spacers and stuff in there that probably were deteriorating the whole time I was in Daytona, but she held on until the rally was over. So she's a good girl, Brown Sugar, I tell you. So they're going to come get it, take it over to Chopper, and he's going to fix it. But the reason what this video is not just this getting taken to a shop today to get finally fixed by a real man. It's that I was screwing around with my camera and putting together videos. The Sturgis series is coming out and other stuff. And man, I had 15 minutes of what I would call outtakes of me and the missus pulling the motor out, cutting off muffler mounts, and grinding off pieces, and just disassembly that we were just laughing and having a good old time. And the funny thing is, I think it's probably some of the best content about this chopper I had, and I never used it, never put it out. So figured I'd cut it together and just let you guys have a laugh at us. The missus helped a lot on that bike. Now, unfortunately, didn't have the camera going when we got the motor into the bike. That was a whole other thing, but anyway, I figured you'd enjoy these outtakes, have a good time laughing at us, and I'm dropping this weekend, so the live will already have happened, all that stuff. But keep an eye out for the Sturgis series, because those are a lot of fun. I'm real passionate about that rally. I've been going since I was 12 years old, and I just love sharing it with people. So keep an eye out for that. Love you all to death. Take care of each other out there. We'll talk real soon. Bye. Seriously? Is that a sock monkey? What the hell is wrong with you?
Superhero sock monkey.
There's flies about to go in the house. Anyway, one of the blessings I've gotten this whole deal is that even though there's a lot of changes being made with the tins and certain things have to be fixed and rewiring and all that sort of stuff, at its core, this motor was in this frame. You know what I'm saying? Like, this motor fits this frame. I have the correct mount bolts. I have the right hardware already. So doing this bike in 60 days, as long as I keep trucking and my real job doesn't get in the way much as it already is, which, God forbid, that's the job, right? So I got to do it. But essentially, these next 60 days are going to be working all day, working on this all night, working on this when I have little breaks, working on it all weekend, and just doing whatever I can. So today my goal is, I already got the forks off, and I'm already clearing out that old wiring. It's such a mess, I did start cutting it. A lot of you dudes have built a lot of these bikes, you're like, just start cutting it, you're not going to use it. So I'm yanking out wiring while trying to preserve things like the frickin' rear brake switch, that kind of stuff. Pulling the engine bolt mounts out, engine mount bolts out. I got to take the oil tank out. And then it's just mow disassembly. Top tip, if you don't want your bike, your chopper, doesn't matter brand, if you don't want your bike to corrode, have rust on it, just have it leak. And just have a constant flow of oil out of the bottom of the motor. It's not going to rust down below because it's it's protected, it's kept safe. So the primary on this bike had a leak, which I found. There's a scratch in the casing. It's just a scratch, not a crack. I checked it. Like somebody may have trying to do something with the gasket and slipped and hit it with a standard screwdriver and didn't realize that scratch is enough for a nice drip, So I just got to sand that down a bit and get it nice and clean before I put a new gasket on it. But whole left side of the bike is just glistening with oil, and it just makes everything a pain in the ass. My hand has slipped off and smashed my damn pinky already once, which, that's a thing. So now I'm looking at the way this goes in, and I started to take a couple bolts out. I was like, shit, those aren't even the right ones to come out. I'll show you what I mean. I started to take, this out and this out of here, and I was like, wait a minute. This bracket, goes through the four controls through the bracket and then bolts through on the other side through the frame. The motor bolts to the bracket, not to the, you know what I mean? I don't know what I was thinking. So what I need to do is figure out a plan for pulling the motor. I get the oil tank off, battery box, and get the voltage regulator off and that wire, because I don't want it to, pinch that wire and sever it when it's coming through. But then it'll just be unbolted from here, and then the two rear bolts. Motor's not modified. I don't know if you know much about this stuff, and I didn't, to be honest. Motor's not modified. You just have a custom frame by Paco that's made to fit this exact motor, but it uses these brackets to reach the motor from, all the way forward. I wonder if you can put other motors in this frame. Somebody comment down below if you know better, but it just seems like there could be other configurations you could do with this frame. I could be wrong. Maybe you can throw a shovel in this thing. I have no idea. But like maybe there's different brackets, you know what I'm saying, that could go between there and there for different motor. I don't know. Somebody, comment. Maybe I'm nuts. Because you see you got this bracket that goes from the motor to the frame too. So I got to pull that off. That's another issue. I got to get this loose so I can get that bracket off, because right there is not enough room to get a even just an old school, hex head key big enough for that bolt won't fit between the rail and the bolt itself. So I'm going to have to kind of loosen it, maybe rock it that way or this way to get on there. But here's what it is. Yeah, I'm stalling now. So let me get back at it. I need a mechanic's assistant. And when I say that, I mean mechanic, so that I can assist them. It's just a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of, I keep having to go inside for work stuff and come back out. Not whining, just reality. All right, so got the oil tank out, the battery, the old battery box out. Some of that stuff I could tell was like custom made bracketry by Doc. So pretty cool. So I'm going to preserve that stuff, of course, and still use it, and because I don't want to have to make it. But you can see this bracket here. Actually, he had cut it and bent it to hold the bottom side of the see how it's bent up right there? That's not right, though. To hold the battery box to the back side of the oil tank. So oil tank's out. Took the pipes off. Those are back there. It's only the flanges, otherwise I'd toss them. You can see I got the coil sitting there just on top. And I got to unplug the voltage regulator, or yeah, something like that, so I can get that wire pathed out from under the motor and back up front, so I can pull that out. I got to get the cam cover off on the other side to get to those front mount bolts, I believe, unless I'm crazy. No, wait a minute. Are they there? I got to figure that out. I got to look at that engine stand, too. Looking at the engine stand and give you a good idea, like where the mount bolts are. You can kind of get an idea of their pitch and stuff. That's how I did when I built that table with the 114 motor, was kind of looking at it to get an idea of, what I needed. But did they both bolt on the same? No, that can't be right. Oh, more puzzlement and wonderment. So, more disassembly, back to work. I hope I'll get the motor out today. If not, then maybe by tomorrow. But just got to keep cracking on. All right, I don't know. The final teardown video, I decided to stitch all together over multiple days, because I work here and there on it and have to go inside and all that stuff, and that light's off. And so, it's now Saturday. We're going to help. What did I just say inside? You got all excited?
You said you're going to let me do some grinding.
And I was like, not like that. She's like, oh. So, here's where we are. I'll show you. All right, so status report. Sit rep, as the Brits say. just about everything's off. I mean, what I'm doing now is I'm cutting off the world's most powerful exhaust bracket. So Doc added that to that frame to hold a long 1 3/4 exhaust that went all the way to the end. I'm running shorties, so don't need that. And look at the size of steel he chose. I mean, I guess it's legit, but the friggin' weld bead is a 1/2 inch practically. So I'm just grinding like hell on it, and no one's getting any satisfaction from it. So that's got to be cut off. These turn signal brackets are just like, plate steel he cut. I'm not running turn signal, so cutting that off, cutting those off. I got to figure out this like engine mount system here, because it's like the forward controls go through the frame, but they also go through a mount, which also goes in the motor. So I'm trying to figure out the order in which they come out. By the time you see this, I will have figured it out, because I'm not going to finish this video until the motor comes out. But so right now, somebody's trying to be helpful and they're commenting, but I've already figured it out by the time you've seen it. I think because the engine mounts both bolt on this side, right? Like they go in and that way, and then bolts go through. I think the motor might pull out this way, not that way, and it seems strange to me. Every motor I've ever seen come out of a motorcycle, it always goes out that side, but with the way those engine mounts go, I don't know. It seems like you would leave the mount attached to the motor maybe and pull it away up, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. Thankfully, I have backup. Oh, look, you're wearing your Easy Company shirt. There you go. Yeah, don't pay attention to where she just pointed. All right, we'll be back. Are you discovering the same thing I did?
That this bolt is forever fucking long?
No, I think Doc had those imported. Just to, like, you have the world's longest bolts in stock, like a 9-footer.
My wrist hurts.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? So the missus is giving me a break, and she's taking the forward controls off. So we ground. There's still some more grinding on this side. Bump and grind. Oh, there's on that side too. Yeah, a little more cleanup. So if you're wondering what that is, you got it?
And 6 washers.
All right. Well, home job. You got to figure out how to space that sucker. If you're wondering what that is, that's the brake stop. So that bit of material belongs. if you've never done this before, I hadn't either. But yeah, so there's a bracket that rests on the frame and that stop, and that's where the brake goes on this side. And then we're still cleaning. I got that one down pretty clean, where the exhaust bracket was. Then I just got to clean up a bit where the turn signal brackets were, and then we'll have a good enough clean frame.
You know what else we had?
What?
More spikes.
More spikes.
And washers.
Washers, oh plenty. I wish I were in the washer and spike business. I'm thinking, you guys will have already seen this, I said before, but yeah, we're looking at this going, we think the motor comes out on this side. Which is strange, but the motor brackets are both of these mounts mount to the frame on, this side, even that one over there. So it looks like it would come out that way. Then I probably have to take the brackets off to put it on the engine stand, and then I'll clean the brackets up, paint them, But that's a lot of things. I was thinking that last night. All these little brackets I took off need to be sanded and painted too, just to make it all look nice and shiny. Is it recording now?
Yes.
Can I make my joke about doing a little bump and grind?
No.
Are we doing it or not?
Go.
All right. Yes! Cutting metal with fire!
That is a serious piece of metal.
You want to do something?
Sure.
Okay. Stop recording. It's a little excessive
Finally got it off.
for a bracket that holds a muffler. That was holding a piece of 1 3/4. I'm sorry, an 1.75" drag pipe. Like, Doc meant for this to not come off. Whew. All right, now I gotta clean that up a little bit. And then these little tabs they're not very thick. You can take those off. You want to take these off? Be fun.
Sure.
All right. Good.
Off.
Do you feel powerful and sexy? Oh, it's not off. All right.
Yeah.
It's still holding on though. Yeah. How did you catch it on fire a second ago? That was impressive.
Yeah. Well.
I've never caught metal on fire before. I'm less a man. All right. Well, I'll shut the camera off and you just wheel around and get the other side.
Give me that hammer.
Oh yeah. Hit it like I owes you money.
Actually, no, it should be coming off.
It's sexist.
It's hot.
It's just hanging on by a thread. Too hot to grab in your hand, yeah.
Yep, too hot to grab.
Come on, let go. It's resisting.
Resistance is futile.
What is it holding on by?
It's just that oh, there it is. I just can't grab it. It's too hot. There she is.
All right, now the Nova side. Yes! There you go. Hey.
What?
What are you taking off now?
Ow. Grease out of my ear.
Okay, but what part are you taking off?
This thing.
That's called the voltage regulator.
Yeah, it's the voltage regulator. It's still.
You know what it does?
It regulates voltage.
There you go.
Hey!
Hi.
Yay.